Uh, when you think about the diversity, then you think the obvious. So gender, age, maybe if you go a bit deeper, you think about sexual preference. But if you really go very deep, then you will understand that diversity is not that obvious. And we also can find neurodiversity. That's why I would like to invite to the stage Ewelina Kałużna, Head of Strategic Workplace Solution, and Sylwia Chorąży, Organizational Excellence Director, both working for Skanska, to tell us more about the diversity and neurodiversity.
Thank you, Dominic. Hello, all. Actually, it was very great to hear the previous panels. I must say, very interesting. And what we will do now, we will just build on what was said, and we will maybe go a bit deeper. So maybe the first thing which comes to your mind, neurodiversity and office developer. Maybe a bit not matching, but I hope I will prove with Sylwia, who is with me today on the stage, that this is really a topic which is connected with the office space. We have also Dominika with us today, who will later join the panel. She is a medical expert in that topic, so please don't ask us any difficult questions from the medical point of view. We are not the expert in that field. We will focus on the workplace and why neurodiversity is more important than ever nowadays. But before we will go there, short exercise. Please raise your hands if your daily attendance in your office is above 50%. Okay. I would say less than half, but still not bad. I think we all noticed that COVID changed us. It changed us as people, it changed us as employees, it changed us as employers. Our needs are different nowadays. And we also need to understand that needs of employees changed a lot. And very often, I must say, because we witness a lot, that our offices did not change. And what our clients are coming to ask us is that they are struggling to bring back their employees back to the offices. Maybe some of you don't want them in the offices, but believe me, there is a lot of companies which are thinking what to do to bring people back to the offices. And maybe today's topic will be a bit an answer for you. What if I tell you that almost 20% of our society was already diagnosed with different neuroatypical behaviors? It's not a niche topic anymore. 1 out of 5, quite a lot, isn't it? We've been talking also about Gen Z on the previous panel. What if I tell you that Gen Z diagnosed themselves as a 38% of the self-identify with different neuro diseases, neuroatypicalities? So, what is this neurodiversity? This is a new definition. It started to appear in the press in the 90s. However, as you see, that only lately more and more studies started to appear on this topic. More and more people started to Google what does it mean, what it's about. And also in social media, more and more information started to appear. People started to be interested in this topic. ASD, ADHD, IPD. Probably a lot of people heard that. So different kind of spectrums of disorders of autism, different spectrums of attention disorders, or just different processing information disorders like dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia. Starts to be more familiar, isn't it? What we want to do in our workplaces. We want to feed that people into the spaces we already have. They are not matching. And why we want them in our workplace if they are not matching? Because very often those people are bringing skills which we need or which we want to have in our workplace. They are very good at calculating, they are very good at finding patterns, they are very good in analytical skills. They can just do the job which is reputable. Some other peoples will be bored with it, and they are great with this job. And if we match it with the demographic changes we are facing with our aging society, if we match it with us as employers, that we really want to be employer which is the first choice employer, and we match it again with the Gen Z, which will be our employees, and we know they expect that, and they feel that they are in that group, and we want those people to work in our offices, in our companies, then it starts to be really worth to dig a bit deeper into that topic. So now I will ask Sylvia to tell you more about it.
Okay, so now when we know what neurodiversity is, raise your hand if you know someone who is neurodivergent. It's more than half of you here. So now let's learn what types of workspaces are matching the needs of neurodivergent people. Okay, so you experience a space in exactly the same way. You're experiencing that with your senses. So for example, you're coming here and you either feel warm or cold. Which one was it this time? A little bit cold, but now we are all warm. You experience that with your sight, the colors, of course, the smell. Then you're thinking, you're using your brain to think, what is this place for? How should I behave? But also this place is creating some kind of emotions in you. And all those three are creating either positive or negative emotions. And for example, in the morning when you're coming to the office and you can see people discussing their weekends, and it's a lot of loud conversations, nice smell of coffee. For some people, it might be a great experience, and you would move to this positive feeling, motivated, nice place to be. But I will introduce my colleague Adam here. For Adam, who is the data analyst and who is self-diagnosed himself as a neurodivergent person, for him it's a nightmare. He's coming, he has too much stimuli, and he just wants to escape from that place. It smells too much, it's too many people, it's just a chaos for him. So he wants to move as soon as possible. So now let's see what are the kind of places that would be good for Adam. We will talk about 3 office components: the usual place and the reason for neurodivergent person to even come to the office is individual work. They don't come there to cooperate. It's the individual workstations that need to be prepared well for them. So we will go through the spaces for individual work, cooperation zones, and then restoration, the rest areas, where they can get more energy or relax. And we will today give you the tips that are not costly, easy to implement. They can be done in existing office, in the new office, but they need to be well planned. They don't have to be all implemented at the same time. Even small change can make a big difference and benefit the employees. Okay, so we will visit individual workspace because this is the first place where Adam comes to. He had the chance to book his desk, which is great because predictability is what Adam really values. So booking system, he knows where he will sit. Open space is good place to work for majority of people in the office, but not for Adam. He likes his space to be closer to the corridor, somewhere where he will have visual and acoustic separations, you are seeing here. But he also wants to control the temperature, control the light, so this safe environment will be good for him when he concentrates and focuses. He doesn't have to be bothered with everything that is happening around. He is also really appreciating these active seats, so he can move the muscles when it's needed to calm down a bit and to get rid of the excess of energy that he has sometimes. Okay, so those are just some examples of how this space could look like. This study is pretty new, so we don't have yet too many examples of these spaces, but there are a lot of companies that already started appreciating those workers being in the office. Okay, now we're going to see how these individual workstations are connected to the corridors. On the corridors, it's important to have visual dashboards because, as I said, predictability is very important, the rules are important, so they need to be visible on the corridors where everyone can read it and can obey to. And what is also very important for neurodiverse people is that you can see this curtain in the back, that if they want privacy, they can add this in the back so nobody comes to them. So it's like a stop sign that I need to be alone right now. Okay, those are just some examples, as you can see. Also, biophilic design, this is what everyone needs, but it creates this comfortable atmosphere as well. Okay, now we're going to something that everyone really, really loves, closed space for individual work. We call them focus rooms. And it is great because you can really control as many stimuli as there are in such space. But of course, they are the most difficult to arrange, especially in the existing office. What is great about it is the water point, the kettle that you can see on the left. The person with ADHD, if they would go from the focus room and enter the kitchen area when they have a chance to have a lot of social interactions, their focus is lost. So it's much better to use the coffee machine in this space, so he can very fast coming back to the focus work and concentrate on the tasks. Okay, now we will move to the space for cooperation. Adam has a meeting today. He knows about it. He feels safe because he knows the agenda. But what he doesn't like is to enter a space full of people. He needs to get some time to do it. That's why we're having this second row. So he doesn't enter and sit directly at the table. He needs some time to interact with people. It helps him to get used to the situation. And as you can see also, there is some soft materials here that are creating a little bit warmer, safer atmosphere, a little bit like hotel, as you can see in the hotels. Some examples here. And now I'm going to show you 3 areas where neurodivergent people are getting their rest. It could be from the social restoration zone. You can see a kitchen here. When they come here, sometimes they would like to eat alone, and it shouldn't be awkward that I would like to be alone today. That is why kitchen offers a lot of different seating arrangements. You can sit by the big table, but you can also eat alone, and it's absolutely fine. A kitchen should be separated, so it's a closed area, so the smells aren't going out. It is not disturbing other people working in the open space. This is how it could look like. And the other restoration zone is the sensory restoration, where you can be alone, you can touch or smell the fragrance pillows. You can use loudspeaker to turn the music up and unwind yourself. It's very important to give the space where you can come back to your balance. So taking the last space, it's an active restoration zone. So Adam comes here to just release the excess of his energy. And it's an exercise equipment that you can use. It's not expensive. It just needs to be thought about. You can see here how easy it is, but really helps to manage the stress, release the pressure at work, and just make neurodivergent people more productive. Okay, so this is all. Those were very short tips. You can download more from this publication, and we will have a panel discussion now.
It's better when turned on. Okay, so thank you very much for this interesting introduction to the topic, and we will not let you go as we have now the panel discussion, so if one of you could stay. Thank you very much. And maybe some bit of rearrangement here. So we have 4 seats, as you can see, a comfortable one. So we need 4 volunteers actually to discuss the panel. No, I was joking. So Dominika Piku, neuroscience consultant and researcher, please. Agnieszka Malinowska, site manager Ecolab, and Ola Tomaszewska, diversity, inclusion and community affair advisor. Diversity, so I will help you. Okay, so neurodiversity. Agnieszka, I think this is the first time when we are discussing this topic at Aspire. Do you have any thoughts why? Is it, I don't know, a hype topic, or maybe awareness is growing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I actually needed to answer that for myself, right? Because it's like, it seems a bit like it has appeared from nowhere, right? I mean, talking about diversity, talking about how we develop people, how people are working, what are their working style, it was kind of like, you know, there's a lot of theory about it. There's a lot of things that we are doing on a daily basis. I think it's a no-brainer for us that, you know, if we are organizing the brainstorming session, if we have an introvert and extrovert on the team, we will take an effort to actually make sure that both voices are included. It seems kind of normal to us. I mean, this neurodiversity came a little bit, yeah, like from around the corner. On the other hand, if you start thinking about it, I think it was there. It was just not called out. And you know, from that perspective, I hope it will not be a hype, because hype, by definition, should go away. I think that, you know, we need to learn about neurodiversity. I kind of perceive it as my obligation as a leader to actually understand, and if required, kind of include it on a daily basis. I think that the good thing is it is a hype, because hype by definition is being talked about, and if that is helping our people to feel better at work, to, from our perspective as an employer, to get the best out of the teams as how they are cooperating, then, you know, so be it. It's great for everybody. Everybody's actually getting the benefit out of that. So from that perspective, yes, I hope it will stay a hype for a second. And maybe not an extravagant kind of topic, but really talking about what it is bringing, what does it really mean for us. So yeah, that would be the thoughts from my side.
Okay, so you said, Agnieszka, that we should learn more about the neurodiversity. Dominika, you are an expert. So it is another dimension of diversity we can identify around us. And as Agnieszka said, we are working a lot to kind of implement and to make the diversity in the workspace. So if you could tell us what are the elements and areas that you think that are essential to create inclusive and productive environment.
So when we talk about neurodiversity, we really talk about the potential of human brain, right? And we talk about the potential, but we also talk about challenges that some people might face. I mean, there's enough research at the moment to tell us what sort of challenges we all might face. So, for example, there's a lot of research to say that attention is declining. So our attention span is getting worse and worse collectively as a society. So, for example, if we know that neurodivergent people have challenges with attention, then maybe it would be beneficial for all of us to focus sort of more resources on improving workplaces and putting some rules, we call them brain rules, in our organizations, so actually people can thrive. And you know, it's not a secret that, for example, technology has had a big impact on our attention. So I really encourage everybody to start having these conversations in their teams. Like, you know, I encourage leaders to ask people what they can do so they can be more productive at work. So sort of what's distractions they're facing every day. Because it's been estimated that you know, the economy is losing about $480 billion each year. That's on global level, not in Poland, on distractions. So, you know, it really is in our all interest to start building more productive workplaces and sort of building organizations with brain in mind.
Okay, thank you. So, Agnieszka, Dominika, they've been talking a lot about the attention, losing the attention, rules, technology. I can just imagine social media probably. I mean, as a side comment, I'm turning my mobile into the silent mode, not because someone will call me, but because all those notifications, I would never fall asleep probably. So definitely. But when I was preparing to this panel, then I found it that at Aon, actually, they are pretty well advanced in implementing the inclusion neurodiversity. So, Ola, if you can tell us more about your experience, how you made the theory into the practice, and especially I'm also personally very interested in these rules and technology that can help or not help us.
Okay, advance is too much to say. We have plans, but knowing more and more diversities, even making changes in the office, like we were coming more and more to the office, we were kind of changing home zones, etc. We were planning, okay, let's have silent zone, which will be beneficiary for people with neurodiversities and for neurotypical people. Because even who are extroverts, sometimes need to go and work there just to make sure that I have the environment I need in the office. Home also can be distracting, actually. But our plan is actually to learn. So what you both said, we are going to learn, first probably me, but also companies can have external advisors for that, about neurodiversity, teach the managers, teach the recruiters, talk with the colleagues, as Dominika said, explain what's neurodiversity, how it can look, how it can be different, what are the stereotypes, and how we can support people that are diverse, and how can we support everyone, actually. Because the things that Skanska showed, it can help everyone. It can help us in working the more productive way, because I feel the same decrease with attention in myself and have my own ways to deal with that.
Okay, you are very fast ladies. So, Andrew, good news, we will be ahead of time probably. Okay, so hearing and looking also at Skanska presentation about the office, I mean, at least my personal view is that looks like we cannot narrow it to the neurodiversity or any kind of diversity. I think that the solutions and all we talk about can be really valid for the wider group of people. So the question is if it's really the case. Do you think that other groups of employees may really benefit of all those changes that are driven by the neurodiversity and are implemented in the office?
So very often when we meet our customers and they ask us, so what's the trend now in the offices? How should we change our office so that the employees would like to come to them? And very often I answer the trend is empathy. Because as I said, we started to be humans. After COVID, we realized that we have different needs and we need to understand that there is no solution which fits all. And if we want to be a good employer and we want to have our employees back to the office, first of all, we should ask ourselves a question, why do we want them in that offices? Because very often we meet companies and we ask, did you ask yourself this question? And they say, no, we just want them back. So first thing is that let's think, why do we want these employees back to the office? And then we should adjust our offices according to this why. Because if we want them just to be together, just to, spend time together, just for the teams to meet once a week and have a nice time in the office so that they be more creative, so that they are thinking about some new things they could come up together, not working alone, then we should focus more on the spaces which are the zones dedicated to creativity, to common work. We should focus on meeting rooms. We should really make this office fly for the people just to have fun in this office. If we want the people to work individually in our offices, of course, we should ask them what they need in that offices so that the workplace we are providing is better than the one they have at homes. Because very often they tell us why we should come back if we created at our homes better workplaces than we actually have in our offices. So this is also very important, just to talk with people, just to ask them, what do you need? What will make you come? And if they will really see that we care, that we are really interested in their needs, that we allow them sometimes to be in the worst condition, maybe we allow them to use the meditation room, for example, in our office so that they have time for them to make their brain work again. Maybe they have a worse day at work. Maybe they need a fun room in their office so that they can meet their colleagues and just have some common actions together. So it's up to you. There is no one solution which we will tell you this is the best solution for you. You need to know why you want your employees back and then adjust the office according to that needs. And I'm more than sure that what is good for the people who declares to be neuroatypical will be great for all of us, because we all like to work in the silence. Sometimes we all need to have the place to hide. Sometimes we all need to release energy we have. So I think it will help all of us, not only those.
Remote work, work from home, hybrid, so the hype topics after the pandemic time. Even today, I had many discussions. Did you come to the office? What's the people reaction? How many days? I think the leaders, maybe we have just solved part of the worldwide problem. Just think how to make our offices better than their homes, and then you will have them back in the office. Okay, thank you very much for the discussion. I'm not sure if we have any questions from the audience. Yeah, perfect. I mean, it's one lifetime chance to talk about this new topic, Przemek.
By the way, one disclaimer, if you think I'm too direct, then please tell me, I will switch to correct mode, okay? Direct question. Because you say, okay, adapt the office to different type of employees, you know. Of course, we always adapt, you know, what the employees want, we listen to them. One question, where is the company's culture? How we want to drive it? By arranging the space, we drive the culture. It's not like this that we only adapt to what employees want. We just drive as a company, as leaders, we drive the behavior. The way we want it, and actually the way this is needed to operate as a community, as a team, as a company, and to deliver. What do you think is the right balance between what you say, actually adapt to the employees' requests, always adapt, you know, PlayStations, table tennis, and all this relaxing zone, and the company's culture really driven by the business?
Yeah, seems like a question to you.
I mean, I can answer, definitely. Yeah, it's a great question, and I think everybody needs to answer that questions for themselves. I mean, in a sense, right? I mean, when you are thinking about the culture, at least how I'm thinking about it, there's also an element, how inclusive do I want to be? I mean, we know companies where they are still using the forced spread of the results, and everybody who is in the bottom 5, they know that they will be not working next month. That's one way to do it. We know that there are companies who are looking, especially for their teams, for the people who are extrovert, who are very dynamic, who are very creative. This is not a diverse team, it is fit for the certain purpose. Now, for me, learning about neurodiversity is not a question, you know, I'm going to follow to the rule, or I'm going to, I don't know, switch the way that I'm thinking about the recruitment strategy. But I would like to understand what does it bring. And honestly, I would like to have an answer that, you know, it's a real life example from my company. One of the younger generations talking about being open. She said she has ADHD and she's not going to work from the office. I would like to be in the position to actually understand what does it mean, what are we talking about, actually to go into the discussion. Is it something that we can adopt? And honestly, I don't have a good answer yet. As my company, where do we go? But I think this is really food for thought, how we are wanting to treat this additional dimension. And honestly, I'm really looking personally from perspective of everybody. As you said, Ola, sometimes everybody needs a quiet place. And I think that we can benefit all from certain aspects of that.
Oh, Ola, you said you have plans. Which direction did you take? Asking? Better
Both.
than hope?
Learning, that's the first, to see. It's not that we are going to change all the office in that creative space, right? We are changing a little bit. It's like we have for 5 years already this room with PlayStation. It's not always occupied. It's not like colleagues are spending 8 hours a day there. The same message chairs, you still can go there, there's time. It's not like everyone is sitting. They are aware, they have their own tasks, they have to do the job. But with knowledge about neurodiversity, we can steer them, sometimes help them to find the jobs that will better suit their possibilities, right? There will be people that will be better as analysts and people that will be better in selling things. And that can be also affected by our neurodiversity. So we have to learn, we have to know, and then we can balance. It's not that we are going, you know, only colleagues decides or only LG decides. It should be between both sides if we want people to come to us and we want to be competitive.
Okay. Dominika, science tells us anything about it?
I think it's really important to think about the potential that being more neuro-inclusive brings into the company. And there are companies that have very good programs, like Autism at Work, for example, JP Morgan, and other companies. So I think really it's not about, it's not just about the the relaxation rooms, right? I mean, it's more about digging a bit more into what your employees have on the cognitive level, really. And I mean, there's some things that are visible, and the relaxation room, you can see, okay, we have one, but it's also a sign that you are aware of neurodiversity, that you are aware of, sort of mental needs and cognitive needs. And I think drives future employees, and helps with retention and everything else. So I mean, it's a sort of, because a lot of times when we talk about neurodiversity, the challenges are invisible. So sort of having this report and looking at the solutions, it's nice to see. But if you want to start embracing neurodiversity, it doesn't mean that you have to completely change your office, going forward from tomorrow. It's just more about finding out a bit more about how how the brain works and what it might need to be more productive, and feel better at work.
Okay.
Really.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, I have a feeling, like Ola, you said before in the discussion, that we could spend 3 days talking about it. I think we will have to stop it today. But I think, Andrew, maybe we can make kind of a commitment that this is just the beginning, talking about neurodiversity at Aspire. So I hope that the takeaways from today you will get is that, first of all, you will understand that it exists and what does neurodiversity means, and that we all can benefit from the changes implemented. Thank you very much for the great discussion. Thank you for the presentation.